We're back.
Hi, it's Sarah.
Mary Margaret. Part three of our video blog, our vlog on what is effective coaching. And today we wanted to talk a little bit about now that you've got a relationship with your teacher, hopefully, how are you going to share information with the teacher to really help improve their practice and build on their strengths? So, the first thing I want to talk about is the thing that I love the most about our measure, and that really is doing observation cycles, and then when you complete those, using the score summary sheet. Sarah's got the manual over here. Just let us see that. So that this is just an example of what it might look like. It's page 17, or is it 18?
No, it's page
18.
Page 18. It's the summary sheet that's on the back of your
Scoring booklet.
scoring booklet.
Right. And it gives you a wealth of information where you can really take a look at that and see what's going on in the classroom. Mm-hmm. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I think so, because we go in and we collect all this data, and it's what we do with this data that is so important. And so it's really thinking about the value of data-driven professional development. And so when you use the summary sheet, you can get a really clear picture of areas of strength for the teacher. You can look at the scoring trends. You can see if certain dimensions are stronger than others. You can also see if certain times of the day or at certain times of the 2-hour observation cycle, things are going a little bit better. And you can take that data and look at it as the coach and do a little bit of mini analysis to think about what you want to target for your professional development, for your coaching conversations, because clearly we're not going to try to target everything at once.
Exactly. So you look at that data and you might say at circle time or maybe small group time, the regard score looked pretty high compared to some of the other cycles. And so I might look at that and think about the kind of questions I might ask the teacher about what was happening during that time. Really being very specific, saying, I noticed that cycle 3 at 10 o'clock, when you were reading a story to the children, they were really engaged and you were asking them a lot of questions, and the children seemed really excited about sharing with you. What could you tell me about that?
Right. And I like the fact that you're using that nice open-ended question to get the teacher to reflect on what was going on at that moment.
Right. So I guess just preparing in advance kind of where you want to focus the conversation. And we were both talking about a little earlier just how we want to focus on the positive first, and how you might build that conversation around that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, so we should actually be transparent. So this is actually the first in 2 webinars that we're going to do on data-driven professional development, because what we want to think about first is identifying those areas of strength and helping the teacher reflect on why these things went so well, so that the teacher can then become more intentional and work to build those types of effective interactions into what they're doing across the day.
Right. And you had some really good questions that you were sharing about, like how you bring out the teacher.
Right. So tell me what you were thinking during that moment. Tell me how you felt about that activity. What did you see the children say or do that gave you feedback about how well that activity was doing, so that they can go back and think about the reciprocal nature of these interactions.
Right. And I think it's also just kind of a feel good to know, hey, I was doing something right.
Yeah. And, I've been at this a long time, and I've known teachers who, when you say, wow, that was fabulous, tell me why that went so well, they say, oh, the kids just really like that activity.
Right.
When, as a class observer, I've stepped back and I've been identifying all these really effective interactions, and I really want the teacher to be able to understand that, well, yes, the children may like it, but it's probably because of all the things that you were doing.
Yeah.
And once we can point those out and help teachers become more aware of them, then they can be more intentional.
Especially if you do it with specific behaviors. And I thought that was great and wasn't that fun is true. But when you have really specific notes and say the children were laughing, you were smiling, they were asking questions, you really asked questions to get them to explain how they were thinking. Yep. That's the kind of feedback that people can repeat.
Right.
So I think that's what we're going to do for today. And then maybe, you had something else?
Well, the only thing I was going to add is that at the end of that coaching session, where you and the teacher have identified these areas of strength to really
Exactly.
think about an action plan in terms of, so what am I going to do next? And if I'm really, if I as a teacher am really good at engaging children in small group activities because of, multiple learning formats
Mhm.
and things like that, how can I do that in other
And
areas?
other parts of the day, right? And then maybe the teacher can go in with a plan, and then the next part of the cycle would really be talking about seeing how that went. So that
Right.
reflective, a
Mhm.
plan, and then coming back and having a similar conversation.
Exactly.
And then the next time we come back, we'll talk a little bit about maybe sharing the less effective moments with teachers.
Right.
So
Exactly.
don't forget to like us, because we love it when we get likes on our page. I count them.
She does. She does.
So
All right.
see you next time.
Okay. Bye bye.